Hello, hello. We continue to study the geometry of angles and lines, straight lines that cross and intersect each other, creating multiple angles. And these angles all have special relationships. I adore these kinds of problems. I love solving geometry problems, especially the ones for the missing angle. Sometimes in the future, we will be solving geometry problems for multiple things, not only angles, but also sides of triangles and quadrilaterals and compound shapes. I love geometry problems. So let's start. We learned three important theorems in a previous lesson. Theorem number one states that vertically opposite angles are congruent, meaning the two angles that are created by two intersecting lines and that are opposite each other will be congruent. Theorem number two, that the angles on a straight line, no matter how many angles we do have, if they do share vertex and are located on a straight line, all of these angles will add up to 180 degrees. We call them supplementary. And the third theorem we learned in previous lesson is that angles at a point, no matter how many, maybe this many, maybe this many, all of these angles add up to 360 degrees. I'm going to put 360. That's an important little memo. So find the unknown marked angle in each of the following. We have a 90-degree angle, and one part of it is 42. Obviously, 90 minus 42, angle P will be 48 degrees. These are super easy. These are easy just for us to practice. Now, in part B, we do have angles on a straight line. One of them is 37, another one is Q. How do we find a missing angle Q? It's 180. That's the whole thing. This entire angle is 180. 180 minus 37 gives us 143 degrees. Angle Q is 143 degrees. My friends, it's very important to label your answers inside the angles right neatly. Now, and finally, example C, we do have quite a large angle. Remember, these arches, or some people call them arcs, this is the angle in blue that you need to measure. It's not given, but what is given? Well, we're lucky. We do have this angle of 15 degrees. Remember, angles at a point add up to 360 degrees, meaning 360 minus 15, the remaining part, angle R, is 345 degrees. So we just label it so 345, and we put little degrees. Now, this was just a warm-up. The next problem, number 2, the figure shows 4 angles formed by 2 straight lines. My friends, if it is not given that the lines are straight, you cannot assume anything just by looking at the drawing. The drawings are not always accurate. Sometimes you don't have a drawing. So here, I would like to mark them. We do have 2 straight lines. I marked them in pink. And as you see, they create 4 angles. We have angle Y and angle W. Well, if angle W is 46, let's label what is given. If this is 46, Y must be 46. And angle X, Y, and Z, how do we find the remaining? So step 1, angle Y equals 46 degrees. Notice how I label my steps as I solve the problem. Now let's solve for angle X. And I want you to consider that angle X is part of angles on a straight line. I'm just going to highlight it like this. And we just learned that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, let's use this theorem. 180 minus 46, and we have 134 degrees for angle X. And step 3, angle X is equal to angle Z, because they're vertically opposite and both of them equal to 134 degrees. Let's label 134 degrees. I think I solved this problem correctly. Now, number 3, in the figure, AOB and COD are straight lines. Again, please do not make assumptions that we are working with straight lines unless it is indicated. So let's trace AOB. Fantastic. And COD, wonderful. These are two intersecting straight lines, which means angle O. Angle O, what is angle O? We cannot find angle O. We have to find angle COB. So what is angle COB? Let's highlight it. COB is right here. That's what we're looking for. I marked them yellow. Red, of course, red. So how do we solve this problem? Well, I want us to consider this little piece first. This little piece. Oh, not that color. Let's pick up black or purple. Let's consider this angle AOC. So step one, let's find angle AOC. AOC is one of the angles on a straight line, right? I hope we see this, that this three angles are in a straight line. So we can find AOC by saying 180 minus 105 and minus 50. And the remaining piece, which is AOC, so I'm going to label this as 180, angles on a straight line. We know that because COD is a straight line. It was given to us. So 180, 105, 155. So this must be 25 degrees. So if this is 25 degrees, how can we, therefore step two, I see it. See, I love solving these problems. If angle AOC equals 25 degrees, it is also equal to angle BOD. This one, angle BOD, must be equal to angle BOD because they're vertically opposite. So let's label this as also 25 degrees. Now, how do we find angle COB? Well, we can finally, I believe, we can finally make it a step three. Let's take a look. What do we have here? Let's highlight that these two angles are also 180 degrees, right? So we can use this fact. Let's say angle COB, which is the angle that we need to find, right? That's the one that we have to solve in this problem, equals 180, which is the whole angle in a straight line, minus 25 degrees equals 155 degrees. So angle COB equals 155 degrees. My friends, we're done. Let's label this 155 degrees. Notice how I used multiple theorems that we learned in a previous lesson to solve this mystery problem of finding angle COB. Now, the next set of exercises all deal with, the next one deals with a straight line. I'm always going to highlight the important piece of information. ABC is a straight line. Let's label this. ABC is a straight line. What do we know about angles in a straight line? We do remember, I hope you remember, that they all add up to 180 degrees. We call them supplementary, straight line, supplementary angles. Therefore, angle ABD, ABD is 35, check. EBC is 55, check. Find DBE. Let's highlight DBE. Angle DBE. So here's your angle DBE right here. I'm highlighting it. How do we find it? Well, 180 is the entire angle, minus 35 and minus 55. I hope you can do your math right and figure out the missing angle. Pause this video. I'm not going to give away the answer. Finally, problems number 5, 6, and 7. In the figure, find angle X. I like to highlight my unknowns in red. Find measure of angle X. Remember, we are seeing angles at a point. All angles at a point, I'm just going to trace it like this. Angles at a point add up to 360 degrees. We know that this little corner, this is 90, 80, and 155. We just have to subtract 90, subtract 80, and subtract 55 in order to find the missing measure of angle X. I hope you can do the math. Finally, problem number 6. In the figure, find M and N. I like to label my angles in red, the ones I don't know. the ones I don't know. And look, it says they're vertically opposite, meaning they were created with the use of straight lines. Let's highlight the straight line. Here you go. One straight line in blue highlighter, another straight line in blue highlighter. Fantastic. So let's fill in all the information we do know. We're giving angle of 50 degrees. Great. We are also given an angle of 90 degrees. So 50 plus 90, this angle. So step one, 50 plus 90, the full angle will be 140 degrees. Let's label it 140 degrees. If this is 140, that means this vertically opposite angle will be 140 degrees. How do we find M and N? Well, let me state the following. Step two, angle M must be equal to angle N by definition. They're vertically opposite, so they must be equal. And how do we find them? We take 360 degrees minus 140 twice, right? Which is 280, and divide them into two equal parts. So 360 minus 280 is 80. Divide by 2, we have 40 degrees angles. 40 and 40. And I hope that when we add 140, 140, 40, and 40, we should get back to our 360 degrees. I will allow you to solve number 7 on your own. Again, we're just using all the theorems that we know. Here's our missing angle A, here's our missing angle B, and here's our missing angle C. Again, it's very important to label what is given. Here we have a 90-degree angle that's indicated by this corner. And we do have, even though I don't like how they didn't tell us that we have straight lines. We have straight lines. So I would say right here, this is a straight line regardless of the copy. And right here, these are also straight lines. We have straight lines right here. I hope you find these problems as much fun as I do, and I hope you enjoy it, and happy practicing.